All right, I'm gonna pair Scott up with a Sal here. Take Scott here into his leg lift. The only thing with the Sal's video, it's slow motion, so I can't sync y'all up. All right, so let's take y'all into your load. So, I mean, if we look at who's shifting early, let's see. I think y'all are close, maybe. Yeah, I think y'all are pretty much similar here. Just got to be careful. You got that really swinging lift leg. Notice how even a Sal, he kind of lifts and he's tucking it in, which kind of prevents it from wanting to be too aggressive. I really see a lot of, like I said, I see the low velocity guys wanting to be really wild with the lift legs, and then the high velocity guys really controlling the lift legs, but at the same time keeping their speeds. Yeah. So let's take you into your load. So Scott, you're obviously crouching over too much. And that's what I was telling you in your throws. You're getting too out of control with your upper body. It's really important that this stay in, get into the good positions, because this is really all that matters really with your upper body, that it's in position to receive the forces. It shouldn't be doing all this stuff to generate the forces. It should just be waiting to receive the forces. Okay, so it just looks like you're trying to use the upper body to generate the force. Let's take a Sal and do the load. So you can see, look how much more, look how he's staying very vertical, the upper body. It's almost like it's waiting. It's just waiting for its time. You've already started your upper body, and it's way too early. So look, his throwing arm it hasn't even begun to cock. Yours is already coming up. His glove side is just staying across or down or closed. Your front foot is opening. His front foot is still closed. Okay. I know there's high velocity guys who tilt that way or lean back. You don't want to overdo it. I mean, if you're really leading hard with the hips and you get caught leaning back, that's fine, but not that far back. Okay? Almost looks like you're reaching back. So for you, I mean, a Sal would be a good guy to emulate. Is you want to keep a little bit more vertical position of your torso and just focus on this guy up front. Now, if this is your load to his load, look at the force vector. Here's your force vector. There's his force vector. So he's way more linear. So he did a better job of going from his lift leg hip position to his load hip position, that forward and down movement. He's gotten more forward and more down than you. So this is really where we learn a lot from someone like a Sal. So watch his front foot. He keeps it closed. Let's watch your front foot. See how you're opening your front foot? So he's still moving into his leg drive, and he's keeping his front foot closed. And then right before it lands, he turns it slightly into an open position. And then he gets full extension before it goes down. You're swinging it open right out of the gate. So you're starting hip rotation way too early, and your back leg is just getting caught in that hip rotation and just kind of being pulled around and rolled over, or that leg is collapsing. So it's impossible for you, once that leg opens that quickly, for you to drive with that loss of torsion, that collapsing back leg. So this is the point where you're supposed to be driving like a Sal, but you're so early on opening your front side that your leg was collapsing or you were losing stability before you could, when your body was ready or it was time for it to start driving. So that, if that lift leg opens too early, you're screwed. That's why the lift leg's too aggressive and it gets out too early. It's going to cause you to open too early and then you're screwed. Because that, everything's going to start rotation and you can't drive because your leg's going to collapse. There's a rare guy who can open early and still drive. The only one I've seen is Zach Wheeler. The guy can open early and this leg still be in torsion. I mean, he's literally in this position here, this leg still in torsion, and this leg is completely open. That shows you how much mobility that guy has. But still, he still has the presence to keep the back leg strong. But what I tell guys is, unless you've got insane hip mobility, you can't do that. So you can't let your front side open this early. At this point here, Scott, you should be fighting to keep your front side closed and moving into a full leg drive before you open that front foot. So you hit front foot here. Sal hits front foot here. Okay. Watch his hips come through. Notice how his hips come through and his arm is cocking up and his shoulders are staying closed. Let's see when your hips come through. So here. So your hips come through here. Your arm is coming up, but your shoulder rotation has begun. So because he generated more forces through his stride, stayed closed longer, which helped him do that, he created a lot longer stride length than you, which is an indication of that force. He also got a little bit more linear front leg than you, was able to get that hip open quicker than you without the shoulders starting rotation. So we'll see how all this is paid out when we go into shoulder rotation. So there's Sal at shoulder rotation, maximum external rotation, good forward trunk tilt. He's the best on front leg extension into maximum external rotation. So you couldn't even get extended. You're more vertical. You don't have that maximum load in your arm. Another misconception I run into, of course, your ability for your arm to be stretched back is important to you being able to get into that position. But some guys will think, well, if I had more mobility in my arm, then that would happen more naturally, and that's not true. It all has to do with your ability to move your body through these sequence of movements that's moving force up the kinetic chain. So when the shoulders rotate, they rotate with enough speed to pull the arm all the way back based on your arm mobility and your muscle tension. So until, Scott, you understand how your leg drive influences the load on your arm, will you ever be able to find and feel that full layback of the arm that a Sal is getting? That's why you just got to work up the kinetic chain. And these drills constantly just get more familiar with how to implement the drive or what it's like to maximize a leg drive into front foot and how to cock the arm late into that movement so we create a counter movement. We create that rotational torque, that stretch of the core, which then should multiply the speeds of my shoulders, which then will potentially my arm back. So in these drills, you're just constantly trying to understand the feeling of that kinetic chain and how all that is working together. So you just got to kind of work it from the ground up. Just start with the feet work, get into the hip work after that, and then the shoulder work, and then the arm work. And work it in the same way it actually moves through the delivery. Any questions?